All right, so I need you to go back to your white papers now. You can push your pink papers off to the side. I see your phones put away. I don't want to see them right now. Unless you want to give them to me, I'll take them.
Here you go.
You're gonna sell them on eBay?
No, they're going to sit on my desk. Or you can plug it in. Well, then let's put them away. I don't want to see them. Okay, so as we go through and we prove different problems, there are 4 steps, and we're going to do these 4 steps every single time we see a proof. Okay, there are these 4 steps right here, A through D. Can I have somebody read my first step there? Ginger, go for it.
Show the given information in the diagram using tick marks to show congruent sides and arcs to show congruent angles.
Okay, so you're going to start by marking up the picture. That's the first thing. Second step, letter B, someone else. Letter B, go for it. Shreen.
Show any other congruent parts you notice. Vertical angles, side shear, common, or alternate here and parallel lines.
Okay, so those are those 3 things we talked about before, right, that are never marked in the picture. You got to mark them yourself. Letter C, third step. Someone else. A, go for it.
Give the postulate a theorem that proves a triangle congruent. SSS, SAS, ASA, AAS, or AHL.
Good. Okay, so those are the 5 you're allowed to use. Obviously, don't try to use one that doesn't prove anything, like the bad word one, or angle, angle, angle. Those aren't real. And then last step, excuse me. You know what I'm talking about. Last step is fill in the blanks to complete the proof. Okay, so when we go and do a proof, there are 3 things that are always going to be given to you. So proofs are always going to look the same in this regard. Number 1, you're always going to be given some information, because you can't do anything unless I give you some information about the picture. Otherwise, there's nothing to do. Second thing is you're always going to be a statement that you're trying to prove is true. So I'm telling you, I want you to prove that these 2 triangles are congruent. Excuse me. And the third thing you'll always be given is a picture. And that's, you must mark up your picture, otherwise you're not going to get the proof right. So you've got information you're given, a proof, and then the picture itself. So the first step is we're going to read the given information, and then we're going to mark it in the picture with tick marks or arc marks. Now, first piece of given information, this is things I'm telling you are true. It says side BC is congruent to side DC. So here's BC, here's DC. What should I put on them to show that they're congruent? A tick mark. Great, so let's do that. Great, there's my first little sentence. You mark that in your picture. Second sentence says AC is congruent to EC. AC, EC. Yeah, 2 tick marks. Exactly, because it's my second pair now. All right, that was the first step. Second step is show any other congruent parts that you notice that are not marked for you in the picture. What do you notice in this picture? Amaya, what you got? Which ones? At what letter? Yeah, the 2 angles at letter C right here are your vertical angles. Good. I'm going to kind of color mine in a little bit. And then I'm going to label them vertical angles. Is there anything else you can mark in your picture, or is that it? That's it. Now, it should be really easy to tell between these 2 triangles. If I cover one of them up, you can raise your hand and tell me which theorem would prove that these 2 triangles are congruent. I got so many people. D, what do you think? SAS, thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you agree or disagree with her? What do you think? That's what she just said. Yes, SAS, perfect. So now you know these triangles are congruent by side, angle, side. It is now time to take all that info and we're going to plug it in to this proof. So all we're really doing is taking that information and writing it as sentences. Now, when we do a proof, there are 2 parts to the proof. There's your statement. So these are like the claims that you're making. And then your reason is your evidence, your supporting information for why you're making that claim. The first statement always, every time, in every proof, is the given information. So literally, take this information right here, these sentences, and copy them. That's all you got to do. You just copy them down. So literally exactly what you see for given, copy it down. So I straight up copied. That's all I did. Now, this is why you need your highlighter. In order to get to the last statement, which is the prove statement, so in order to get there, you need 3 congruent symbols before you get to your prove statement. 3 congruent symbols before you can go to your proof statement. And that makes sense because like we needed all 3 of those to get side, angle, side. So you better have a side, an angle, and a side all with a congruence symbol. So here's why we have our highlighters, because we're going to practice highlighting our congruent symbols every time. So I've got 1, 2 already. And obviously I need a third one. Huh? The what thing in the middle? What are that called? The vertical angles, right in the middle, right? I have to have that as my last sentence. So you've got a sentence that says the 2 sides are congruent. That's what this sentence says. You now need a sentence that says your vertical angles are congruent, right? Because that's the reason right there, vertical angles. But I need to write it as a sentence. So I need to say the angle on the left is congruent to the angle on the right.
So we just put like the angle sign and then C.
So here's the issue. I can't just put angle C is congruent to angle C because there's different angle C's. So I got to name it with 3 letters. Blake, what do you think?
Can you use the proof part, like a BCA?
And? Yeah, so this actually says triangle, but it's still the same order, yes, for the angle. To get this angle right here, I would start with B, go towards C, and at A. You also could go the other way. You could have called it A, C, B. That would work as well. But you need 3, as long as the C's in the middle. Exactly. Doesn't matter what other order you decide to put it in. So I'm going to put A, C, B just because I'm going to. So angle ACB is congruent to, what's the other angle? ECD. Good. And then I've drawn another congruent symbol, so now I have 3. Once you reach 3, once you've got 3 highlighted, you stop what you're doing and you go straight to your prove statement. So the given is your first sentence. The prove is your last sentence. Notice that this is the exact same thing that's right here. So this sentence says, these 2 triangles are congruent. And how did you know that? Which theorem told you that they were both congruent? SAS. So your literal reason is just SAS. And you're done. There's your proof. Piece of cake, right?
That's easy.
Yes. Why are you confused?
I'm not. That's
Okay,
easy.
it is easy. No, I thought you sounded confused that it was easy.
No. I was saying that's easy.
Yeah. Okay. What questions can I answer so far? None? Nothing? Okay. Then, smarty pants, I want you to go to number 2. I want you to start by marking up the picture. Just mark it up. Use that given information, mark up that picture. Yeah, you can talk to each other. Go ahead. All right. Who can tell me something I need to put in my picture? And where? Alexa, what do you think? And what? And okay. Okay, good. So first two right here, that's the first sentence. We're going to put a tick mark. Boom, on both sides. Great. What else do I need to put in this picture, Ginger? Good. So these two over here, that's the second sentence. Boom, 2 tick marks over here. That's all that's given, but I still have to put in one more thing. What is it, Stevie?
Shared side.
Shared side, which is which one?
It is KM.
And what should I put on KM?
3 tick marks.
3 tick marks. Perfect. Oh, hey. SSS, right? All 3 sides are marked. Easy peasy, right? You're done with that one. Look at that. Now it's just time to put it into the proof. Easy. Okay, let's put it in. So, number 1, what do I start with? And? Yep, put it all into one sentence. Yep. Yep. Literally copy it down. L, K, J, M, L, N. Boom, boom. And what's your reason? Careful. Given. Okay, and I already see some congruent symbols, so it's time for you to highlight. Mark it up. Exactly. So now you got 2, still need 1 more. Now, this property over here I have not actually told you before, but it's called the reflexive property. What does that sound like to you?
Reflexive.
Like a reflection.
Symmetry.
Symmetry, exactly. So if you had to make a guess, which side in this picture is the reflexive property? Yeah, it's the side in the middle. So reflexive property is just a fancy way of saying your shared side, whichever one's shared, okay? It's your shared side. But the math term for it is reflexive property. Okay, but now I need to write a sentence that uses a congruent symbol that says that this side is shared between the 2 of them. How would I write that as a sentence? So I'm trying to say they both have that side in common. Yeah, it's congruent to itself. Exactly. Reflexive property says this line right here is shared with both of the triangles. So guess what? It's the same in both of the triangles. So KM is congruent to KM itself. Or you could put MK, that's fine. It's congruent to itself. That's all that means. Yes?
Didn't you say we have to use 3 letters to like...
3 letters is an angle. 2 letters is for a side. Maybe we would put that down somewhere. 2 letters is a side. That's a good point. And then 3 letters is an angle. That's a really good point. Okay, so my statement is just this side here, KM, is congruent to itself. So KM is congruent to KM. But MK is congruent to MK. But KM is congruent to MK. I don't care how you write it. But you're saying it's equal to itself. That's the reflexive property. And now you've got 3 congruent symbols, so you can jump down to what step now? What's my, yep, which should be what? What's my final statement? The proof. Triangle KJM is congruent to triangle KLM. And how did we know that? Side, side, side. Beautiful. And that's it. You've done another proof, friends. Not too bad, right? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs down. How you feeling? Feel okay?
It's repeating.
It's repetitive, yes. It's incredibly repetitive.
I don't like that.
Why did we do the angle C? Was it just because they were the same angle?
We picked the angles. You mean this sentence here?
No, you marked it on the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just because in the proof it was the same on both sides?
No, we marked it because they are vertical angles, and vertical angles will never be marked for you. You have to put them in yourself. That's why we put them in. Good question. Any more questions? Okay. Can you mark up number 3? I believe in you. Mark up number 3. Make that picture happen. I believe in you. Give it a go. Talk to the people at your table. See if you mark it up the same way. Thanks, Sarah.
Put a shared side in there.
Why is this so different?
For the on up page crisis GMI, wouldn't we make a shared side?
Nope, those are 2 different things. There is a shared side, but those are 2 different things. Yeah, babe. Here's some like questionable moments happening out there. Alright, there's some different things in number 3, right? You think it looks easy, and then suddenly it's not. Okay. Who can raise their hand and tell me one thing I should be marking in my picture? One thing to mark in my picture. Someone who hasn't said anything yet. Hasn't said anything yet. Hasn't said anything. I'm gonna call in somebody. Donovan, go ahead.
Shared side.
Which one's the shared side?
The
Name it.
bisect.
What's the name of it?
Oh.
FH. And so what should I put on FH? A tick mark. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. Who can raise their hand and tell me something else I should mark in this picture? Maya, what do you think? An angle, an arc mark on G and I. Good. That's what this sentence says right here. G and I. Okay. You've got an angle, you've got a side, but you still need one more thing. Now, the next sentence says FH bisects angle GFI. So remember, when you're looking at angles, look at the second letter, The F is the angle being bisected. So here's my F. It's getting bisected right here by this line. What does bisect mean? Cut in the middle. Cut it, divide it into 2 equal pieces, right? So like if the whole angle was 100 degrees and you bisect it, what's each piece? 50. So they're what, those 2 pieces?
Equal.
They're equal. They're the same. So if I'm cutting angle F in half, that means both of the angles at angle F should now be the same. Oh, so bisect means cut in half. Or cut in 2 equal pieces, whatever you want to put. Now you've got 3 things marked in the picture. So if I cover one up, can someone raise their hand and tell me which theorem this is? Which theorem this is? I'm gonna call she hasn't said anything yet. Who has stuff? Yes, go ahead. She thinks angle, angle, side. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Do we agree or disagree with her? Killer. Angle, angle, side. Okay, now you've got the info. Now it's time to put it into the proof. Okay. First sentence. Given. And I already see a congruent symbol, so I'm going to highlight it. There's one in the first one. Yeah, you're getting ahead of me. Oh my gosh, I'm jumping to 2. I wasn't ready for 2. Hold on, we're on 2. We're on 2. Okay. Number 2 says essentially that if you look at the angles that are the F's, they're equal. How did we know that? The word bisect gave it away. So the definition of bisect is what told us we needed to use it. Definition of bisect. Now, Blake, what were you saying about the reflexive property for number 3? Like, what were you saying for number 3? You were jumping ahead on 3. What were you gonna say? Who wants to help him out? Kiana, we haven't heard from you today. H is what? What goes in between them? What did you say? What symbol goes? There we go. Yeah, just writing FH is not very helpful. Congruent. Okay, there's my 3rd congruent symbol. So now I jump on to, yes, that's the reflexive. So reflexive is the shared side. Shared side right there. Boom. You got me for 4. Do it.
Do the proof. You might have a proof.
Which is, say it out loud.
The triangle.
Yeah.
D, F, H. It's congruent. To I, F, H.
And what's the reason?
Because they're congruent.
AAS. So your theorem always goes as the last statement there. Okay. How do you feel? Thumbs up, thumbs down. How do you feel about proofs? You feel okay?
No.
Nah.
Guess what it's like for?
It's time to do the back. Yeah, flip it over.
Don't forget your
I'm gonna tell everybody tomorrow.
No, you're definitely
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you. I did put I put an alarm for myself to thank you. Okay, flip it to the back. There are 3 problems on the back. I shall help you with 1. You shall do the other 2 on your own. Which one should I do?
Do 5.
5?
Why does 5 have 6?
Why does it matter?
Do 5.
Just because it has the most, you suddenly think that that's the hardest one? Wow. I don't know.
You're number 6.
So many. All of them on the back are 5 steps.
This has 6.
Oh, okay.
That's why I do
Oh my
5.
gosh.
No, do 6.
Raise your hand if you want me to do 5. Okay, there we go. All right. Number 5. Okay. I didn't need to. That was a majority. Okay. On number 5, there are 2 pieces of info given to you. It says ST, and then it's got 2 lines, RU. What do those 2 lines mean? Parallel. Good. Now, if I'm going to mark that in the picture, how do I mark it?
Arrow thingy.
The arrows, the triangle thingies, they're arrows. That means parallel. SR is parallel to TU. What should I put on these sides? 2 arrows. Great, because you got a second set of parallel lines. Okay, that's all that's given to you.
Doesn't it matter which way you point the arrows?
Does not matter. All that matters is that one set's got 1, and then 2 sets has, like the second set has 2 arrows, but it doesn't matter where. Okay, now, that's all that's given to you. What can you mark in this pic? The shared side. Boom, which one? RT, shared side. Do it. There you go. Okay. Now, what else can you mark in this picture that's not given to you? A, what do you think?
The alternate interior angles.
Alternate interior angles. Beautiful. Which ones are alternate interior angles?
SPR is congruent to TRU.
Perfect.
And then
That's 1 pair. So pause there. That's 1 set. Getting excited. Just trying to do the next one. Okay. Now what's the next one? Yeah.
RTU is congruent to SR.
Beautiful. Give yourself a pat on the back. Nicely done. Okay. Now it should be easy to tell. Which theorem is this?
Not really.
Okay, so when you're going to pick for the theorem, take your hand. Seriously, take your hand. Cover up one of the triangles. Only look at one triangle.
It's confusing with the parallel line.
Right, so in this one triangle, what is marked for you? You've got two angles and a side in between it. So what is it? Angle, side, angle. Yes.
What are the point of the parallel line?
So if you didn't know that there were, like, if I didn't give you the parallel lines, you would not have been able to mark the angles inside. You have to know that they're parallel to mark these on the interior.
Because you know that the transversal goes through two parallel lines.
Correct. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that they're the exact same length yet, but not until you've proven it. But because we're about to prove it, that does mean they're the same length. Does that make sense? Kiana's looking at me like I'm crazy. What theorem is this? All right, so let's use that info. Let's plug it in really quickly. First statement, what's the reason? Given. Now, second statement says if lines are parallel, alternate interior angles are congruent. So I need to name the first pair of congruent angles. Yes, like.
SRT is congruent to UTR.
So now here's the problem. I agree with you, but here's the issue. It's the same sentence as this one.
That's okay.
No, it's not.
No, we don't put the triangle. We don't put
No. I have to name the other one. This one right here, SRT is already named for me. That's in my picture. That's the purple ones. So you got to name the pink ones. You got to name the UTR is not a pink angle. RTU is still not a pink angle. TRU, there we go. TRU.
TRU.
T.
Let's see, I didn't see that.
No. Well, I mean, if you're looking at that one, but I'm looking at this one first. This one's the R is in the middle. So TRU. How would I name this pink angle at the top? STR or RTS. Either one's fine. It's congruent, so I highlighted it. Okay, now here's the fun part. Number 3 says, what? They're parallel. How do you know that?
Because I have the parallel lines.
And how did you know that?
Because parallel lines are they're next to each other.
Well, no, because it's a given.
It was also given. They just decided to separate the two. Oh, they took the two sentences. In the ones on the front, we wrote it as just one box. You can write it as 2, that's fine. Proofs, you have an opportunity to kind of like mix and match how you write things. The only thing that matters is that these are like connected with each other. Okay, how do you know that these angles in purple are congruent? Alternate interior angles.
That's confusing. I don't like it.
But now, unfortunately, that's only 2. Yeah, that's the part. So we had one set of alternate interior angles for the pink ones, one set of alternate interior angles for the purple ones. So I had to write 2 different sentences for those. Now, I only have 2 highlighted pieces. What's the last highlighted piece? The shared side. What's the sentence for the shared side? RT is new to RT or TR, whatever, whichever way you decide to put it. RT is congruent to RT. And what is the name of that property? Reflexive property. Yep, that's that shared side right in the center. Okay, you've got 3 highlighted pieces. What do you do at the end? Because all the theorems have 3 pieces, right? Side, side, side. Side, angle, side. Angle, side, angle. So you need 3 of them to match up with that.
So we have all 3, right?
Right, we have all 3. So the final part is just your proof.
What is given to us?
It's not, it's,
ASA.
there you go.
I mean AS.
ASA, yes, I knew what you meant. Woo! Okay. In a minute. Yeah. We got 4 actually. Okay, last part. Ready? Go back to your pink papers. Tell me something that you learned.
I don't like this.
Nah, that's not right. Tell me something that you learned. And tell me something that you're struggling with. I heard everybody say, I don't like this. Tell me why. What's the issue? What's the, well, boring's different. What's the issue? Muddiest point and something that you learned. When you're done, you may put it away. Stop sharing this, my dear.
Question, because I did number 4,
Yes.
but I only have 2
Yeah, so N and Q are right angles. That means they're both 90 degrees. So really they're congruent. So while that one doesn't have like an actual congruent, it's kind of assumed that it's there. Does that make sense?
Okay, so this one,
Yes, it is.